Here's problem number 15 to the mock test. I hope if this is the only video you watch that it helps you out. If any video to watch, this is the one, the big doozy, the word problem. Now, we've done these for our problem of the days, and I've told you that no matter what, you probably want to graph this, regardless of what the question's asking you to do. So that might be a good start, but I am going to go ahead and read the question. In part A, it says determine the slope. You can find this slope without graphing it. The way you would do that is pick a couple points, like the point 1, -9, for example. Pick another point, I don't know, 4, 0. I don't have to use these two. I'm just using it because I like it. And I'm just going to, take the difference of my y's. So 0 minus -9 is, 0 minus -9 is not 10, it's positive 9. And 4 minus 1 is 3, so I can clearly see that the slope of function A is 3. Now, that's not the only way to do this. I could have graphed this one simply by going up 1 over 1 down to -9, going over 4 and 0, drawing this line, and finding the slope by hand. And if you do that, all you have to do is count rise over run, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 1, 2, 3. You actually end up with the same exact fraction. So no matter what, function A is 9 over 3, which is equal to 3. By the way, my work is up here. You would need to show this or this to get full credit. And then we also need to find the slope of function B, so let's just do that on our graph really quickly. Plot 2 points, there's one, there's another one. I can count it's up 2 over 1, 2, 3. So I know the slope is positive 2 over 3, and that's it. That is the slope of B. And that's my work. That's enough to show that on your test. And I know it's positive because it's going upwards. All right, now part B says, which has a greater value for x equals 6? So the real world example I gave you is think about this in terms of days and money. Okay, obviously both people are getting more money as the days go on, but if you really look closely, we really just want to hone in on 6. 6 on which axis? The x-axis. So here's the x-axis. Go to 6. And if I look at this, I'm basically asking which line is higher. In other words, which y value, where on the y-axis is each line. So for example, the black line here, function B, my original function, here's where it crosses right there. See how this line intersects this line right there? Well, that tells me if I trace this back, the y is 4 there, okay? And since the y is 4 there, I know I can compare. I know that I can compare that to the x value for the other function. So if I look here, my other function, if I keep going, it ends up way up here, which I don't need to know what it is. It's off my graph. It doesn't matter. But I know that that's higher on my graph than this. It's physically higher. The y is going to be bigger. And so I can tell that function say that function A is greater. And, if I wanted to show or explain my reasoning, you could do what I just did on the graph and also say, because, Mr. Elsing, I know it's greater because I looked at the graph and I looked at x equals 6, and that line was higher on the graph. It had a greater value. Now, the very last part of this says create a new linear function with the same y-intercept, a function A, and an increasing slope. So if you go to function A, here it is. What is the y-intercept? It's a little tricky. It's not quite on my graph. So if I drew this very, very straight, you actually would see that this actually intersects way down here at -12, which, unless you have a ruler, isn't super helpful. So here's what I'm going to do. Go back to here. If you think about it, when x is 0, when x hasn't gone left or right, that's where the y-axis is. So where is, looking on this table, when is x going to be 0? Do a little thinking here. We went from -9 to -18, and it took us from 0 to 1, 0 to -1, from -1 to -2. It took us 1, 2, 3 kind of steps to get back to -18. So in other words, if I just take the difference of -18 and -9, these are only 9 apart, and I'm breaking it up into 3 steps. Each one's going to go back by 3, if you think about it. Let me explain. -1, instead of being -18, will be -15. 0 will be -12. 1 will be -9. 2 will be -6. 3 will be -3. And 4 is 0. 5 is 3. 6 is 6. 7 is 9. 8 is blah, 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 12. And the idea is it's going up 3 every time. And with that in mind, I know that going down 3 from 1, from -9, is going to give me -12. And that's another way to find that. So since I know that, you can write it like this: y equals x minus 12. And I just need an increasing slope. Pick any positive number. So if nothing else, you can't find the y-intercept. Here's my advice, guys. Say y equals 5x. Make sure you have a positive slope here, and then guess. If you're like, it's going to be somewhere down here. I can't really tell where on my graph. Maybe it's -11. Just guess that. Okay, guessing this tells me that you understand what the problem's asking you, and you can explain that you got -11 from where you saw the graph, and that's fine. That will give you most of the credit on this problem. Thanks for sticking with it. I hope this helps. Please be sure to ask me any questions at the beginning of class tomorrow if you need any more help.